Man, we right back into it again, man. This time it's gonna be from the homie Mike Korzamba's channel. Go give him a like, share, and subscribe his channel. This his original video will be in the link in the description down below, so y'all go ahead and y'all check it out. Go give him a like and y'all go subscribe. But this one is the 7 biggest winners of the 2017 NBA season. Alright, so I believe we're gonna probably see Sixers, Celtics, Rockets, because it's all in the thumbnail. And I don't know who else, but that's 3 teams that I'm pretty sure we're gonna see. But let's see who else we're gonna see. Let's get right into this.
What's up guys, Mike here, and today we are looking at the 7 biggest winners in the 2017 offseason. Yes, we're only looking at the winners of this offseason and not the losers because we're in a positive space here. And I also didn't want to hear the fans of the losers whine. So with that said, last thing, if I already covered a trade or a big free agent move in one of my other videos, I may have left that team off this list because we just have a ton to talk about. So enough of this guy, let's just jump into the video. Number 7, the fans of the New York Knicks.
Oh, New York Knicks winner.
Have not had a lot to celebrate in the last 30 or so years. So when the Knicks hired Phil Jackson, a man who had won 11 championships as a head coach, Knicks fans were right to feel optimistic. Unfortunately, the NBA has changed a lot since the days of Jordan and Pippen and Kobe and Shaq, and it's obvious now that Phil Jackson just could not keep up. Or what's worse, he chose not to keep up. He made the Knicks play the triangle, he hired a yes man as his head coach, and he tried to force Carmelo Anthony out of New York. And let's focus on the whole Carmelo Anthony thing for a second. That is not how you treat the star of your franchise. That is not how you handle a man who has been the face of the New York Knicks for the last 7 years. If you want someone like Melo to leave, you talk to him in private. You don't go behind his back to the media and tell them you think Melo would be better off somewhere else. You don't cry because Carmelo refused to waive a no trade clause that the Knicks gave him. When you do something like that to your star player, you are basically telling other NBA stars, hey, don't sign here because if you do and things don't work out, we're gonna throw you under the bus. Melo didn't deserve that. Say what you want about the guy, but he's always been extremely loyal to New York. But with what I just said about Melo, what I brought up about Phil Jackson in general, even though it's obvious Phil was wrong in those situations, Knicks fans continued to defend him. The reason they defended him was that he brought them Kristaps Porzingis. But somehow, Phil even managed to screw that. This offseason, he made it clear that if the price was right, the Knicks were open to trading Porzingis. Now, I get the argument that for the right price, almost everyone should be available, but Kristaps Porzingis is a legitimate NBA unicorn. He's 7'3". He averaged 18 points a game at the age of 21, and he did this while making almost 2 threes a game. He has the potential to be the best player on an NBA championship roster. When you have a player like that, you should make it clear time and time again that he is untouchable because in the NBA, loyalty matters. When it comes time to sign players to long-term deals, they remember how they were treated. Just look at what just happened with the Utah Jazz and Gordon Hayward. Kristaps has a lot more potential than Gordon Hayward ever did. The Knicks should want him to be in New York for his entire playing career, which is why Knicks fans should thank their lucky stars that James Dolan finally pulled the trigger and got rid of Phil. Number 6, Gordon Hayward. I feel way more comfortable saying that Gordon Hayward was a winner this offseason rather than the Boston Celtics. Because who really knows what's going to happen with Boston? Right now, Jason Tatum looks good, but maybe Markelle Fultz is going to be an MVP one day. Marcus Morris might work out, but the Celtics now have a lot of small forward / power forward guys on their roster.
They need centers. They way too undersized.
Afford Avery Bradley in the future,
these players out Horford. They ain't no border like that.
This year. And after seeing what the Thunder had to trade to get Paul George, maybe the Celtics will regret not pulling the trigger and trading for him. I mean, if Boston had Paul George, they would have a real chance to beat the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? So regardless of all that, what we do know is that the Eastern Conference has somehow managed to get even worse this offseason. This summer, the West added all-star wings such as Jimmy Butler and Paul George to go
Eastern
along with
teams
the
haven't
already
done
loaded
nothing
cast they
in the
have in
offseason.
players
All
such
the
as
West
Kevin
teams have
Durant,
done
Kawhi Leonard,
stuff to
Klay
like
Thompson,
get like
James
you know
Harden. You
better.
get the point. Those 6 guys alone are probably going to be all-stars next year. It would have been very tough for Gordon Hayward to crack that list. Moving to the East, though, means that Gordon Hayward is probably going to be an all-star for the foreseeable future. He is also probably going to be playing deep into the NBA playoffs for the foreseeable future on one of the NBA's most marketable rosters. With his move to the Boston Celtics, Gordon Hayward is going to increase his national profile tremendously. He's going to get more sponsorship deals. He's going to be a more relevant NBA star. All of this matters. So I have to say, Gordon Hayward made the best decision he possibly could have. Number 5, the Phoenix Suns. With the 4th pick this year, the Phoenix Suns took Josh Jackson. The one player I thought headed into this draft was the perfect fit for their roster. And so, just looking at the Phoenix Suns in general, I think they're in a very good place right now. They have a potential future star guard in Devin Booker, someone who is capable of putting up 25 points a game as soon as next season. They have 2 young, promising big man prospects in Dragan Bender and Marquise Chris. They've got a solid young scoring wing in TJ Warren. They have a nice potential young piece in Tyler Ulis. And if down the road the Suns are looking to make a move for even more assets, they have a proven almost all-star level guard in Eric Bledsoe. So again, when looking at this roster and this franchise in general, Josh Jackson is the perfect fit. He provides a level of defensive intensity that the rest of Phoenix wings have not seen in recent years. He has the athleticism and potential to grow into an all-star level 2 guard or small forward. The only major flaw he has is his jump shot, and if he's able to fix that, Josh Jackson has the chance to be the best player in his draft class. At the very least, Phoenix got a man who was ranked as the number 3 prospect at the number 4 pick, and again, he's a perfect fit. So when you combine this young talent with the fact that the Suns are now playing in a loaded Western Conference, you can see that the Suns have a clear direction here. They're going to let their young guys play and learn, and they're going to lose a lot of games, which means they're probably going to get a top pick again next year, and it's starting to look like that after the Golden State Warriors dynasty is over in 3 to 5 years, the Phoenix Suns will have a real chance to make their mark as one of the NBA's championship contenders.
That boy damn Booker put up, what, 70 points?
Houston Rockets. Since the Rockets traded for Chris Paul, a lot of people have struggled with what that move is going to mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are we gonna look like though? Like, what are the Rockets gonna look like though?
Chris
like,
Paul and James Harden have proven to be
I don't see how Chris Paul
guards
gonna work with James Harden. I don't see it working at all.
Two players who love to have the ball in their hands almost the entire game, there's definitely a chance that things are not going to work out. So this trade is a risk, but with James Harden in his prime, you have to take that risk. You have to try and make your team better, and I think this trade will do just that. I think that if Golden State has some kind of injury next season, which is more than possible, I think the Rockets have now put themselves in a place where competing for an NBA championship is more than possible. Sure, Harden and Chris Paul have proven to be ball dominant in recent years, but they've also proven to be unselfish, high IQ basketball players, which is why I don't think the old "there's only one ball to go around" argument is really going to matter. For one thing, Chris Paul and James Harden made this trade happen because they want to play together. They've said that. They found success together as teammates on Team USA, where, not coincidentally, their coach Mike D'Antoni was also on the staff, and both CP3 and Harden are determined to make this work because what they've been doing so far has not worked. We've seen it throughout his entire career with the Clippers. All season long, Chris Paul created a majority of his team's offense when he was on the court, and this has led to him crawling into the playoffs on his last leg. As for Harden, he finished this season as the runner-up for MVP, but was so tired at the end of his playoff run that we questioned if he had given up on the Rockets. So I believe both of these guys when they say they want a lesser load this season. What's more, with this trade, the Rockets gave up only a bunch of role players to land a star point guard. Yes, Patrick Beverley was a monster on defense, but it was Chris Paul who led the NBA in defensive plus-minus for the point guard position in the last 2 seasons. So I don't think the Rockets are going to lose a step on defense at the point guard position, and since the Chris Paul trade happened, they've also added 2 more solid
Chris
players
Paul
in
is a
PJ
defender. He can
Tucker
do both
and
offense and
to me,
defense.
this says that if Chris
Pat Bev
Paul
was
and
just
James
defense,
Harden
but I
are
still
able to
miss
share
Pat
the
Bev
ball
though.
successfully, the Rockets have a very good
From
chance to
the
finish
Rockets,
as
I
the
still miss him.
second best team in the Western Conference next year. Number 3, the Philadelphia 76ers. For years,
Joel
we've been
Embiid,
told
Markelle
to
Fultz,
trust
and Ben
the
Simmons.
process. Now, it appears
Just
that
if they can stay
finally
healthy next
the
year,
process is
and be on the
paying
court.
off. Next
But
season,
Markelle
the
Fultz had
Sixers
that
will trot
ankle
out
injury,
Markelle
so
Fultz, Ben
gotta see
Simmons,
and find
and
out
Joel
if he actually will be able
Embiid.
to play
Players
this
who
season.
are all capable of not only being NBA All-Stars, they're all capable of being first-team All-NBA type players. With that said, of course, that's a big if. Embiid has played in just 31 games in his
Ben
first
Simmons
3 years
hasn't
in
played
the NBA.
nothing.
Ben Simmons hasn't played a single game since he led LSU to a losing record, and Markelle Fultz's college team won 9 games last year. Many people have expressed concerns with these risks, but I'm more optimistic than most. There's a reason that Simmons and Fultz were unquestionably the top-ranked prospects in their draft classes. They have the potential to be legitimate NBA stars. Simmons is near 7 foot tall, and he sees the floor like a point guard. He could very well be the next Giannis crossed with LeBron James. And when looking at Markelle Fultz play, I see a young right-handed James Harden. And as for Embiid, well, if he can
That nigga
stay
really is gonna
healthy,
be like
which
James Harden,
again
gonna
is
be
a
crazy.
huge if, but if he can stay healthy, he will be the best center in the NBA. I have no doubts about that. So we have 3 question marks here, and you have to believe that there's a good chance that the Sixers will hit on at least 2. As for the rest of their summer, I love the additions of JJ Redick and Amir Johnson in free agency. Philadelphia has a legitimate chance to now become the
You can't even
6th
do that in
seed
2K
the
though. He
Eastern
just
Conference.
launched.
So Sixers fans, congratulations. It looks like you made it. The process worked. Number 2, the Golden State Warriors. This offseason, the Warriors were forced to pay up to keep Andre Iguodala, which meant they had to give him a 3-year, $48 million contract. This type of money should have forced the Warriors to make tough decisions in the future in regards to Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Because while the Warriors went out and paid Iguodala, Kevin Durant went and took way less money than he could have. This summer, KD went and signed a 2-year, $53 million deal. That is
So
a
he
significant pay
might
cut, as
actually make
Durant
more
could
money
have
with the
made
player option,
$9
keep opting
million
out and
more
get more money
per
like that.
year. Instead, Kevin took less so that the Warriors
So
were
it's a
able to
win-win.
keep
He
their
can get
core
more money
intact,
in the
which
long
to
run,
me
and he
is
can
a
keep
sign
the
of
core
things
together
to
like
come.
he said he
People have
wants
said
to.
that when looking at the future, there's no way that Golden State is going to be able to keep Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Those guys are going to be too expensive, people have said. But unfortunately, I can guarantee you that Kevin Durant's unselfishness is a sign of things to come. The Warriors stars will all take less money if they have to stay together and win championships. So, when you add this to the fact that Golden State replaced Ian Clark and Matt Barnes with Nick Young, Omri Caspi, and Jordan Bell, again, I cannot see anyone competing with the Warriors for 3 seasons at least. Number 1. The Chicago Bulls. I saved this one for last because people are going to disagree with me here. People are going to say that the Bulls should have gotten a lot more back for Jimmy Butler, a man who is unquestionably a top 15 player in the NBA. But like I said in my video on the Jimmy Butler trade, if the Bulls could have gotten better value for Jimmy, they would have. What's more, we need to remember that in this current NBA, it is very, very unlikely that the Bulls were going to be able to acquire other stars that would have made them serious contenders with the Golden State Warriors. Actually, I'm just gonna scratch that. It was impossible. Looking at the rest of the talent around the league, the Bulls were never even going to be a top 5 team with Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy, I love you. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna root for you on the Timberwolves. But when I look at teams like the Clippers or the Jazz, teams that look like they're going to be stuck in no man's land for the next several seasons at least, I'm happy that at least the Bulls have a clear direction. Making the choice to do a full-on rebuild is always tough, but the Bulls made that decision. After the Bulls went and traded Jimmy, they didn't mess around with this rebuild. They didn't sign a free agent like George Hill. They even waived Rajon Rondo, which is going to give them a chance to play the young guys like Chris Dunn major minutes. That's going to help the Bulls' young players develop, and Chicago's front office will now be able to see what they have in those young guys. What's more, signing Felicio and Justin Holiday to reasonable contracts are solid moves that give Chicago good young players that will be trade assets in the future. And so, just looking at what the Bulls did this offseason, they've given themselves a chance to build and compete 5 years down the road. After the Golden State Warriors dynasty is over, they can see if Zach LaVine has what it takes to grow into an all-star. They can see if Lauri Markkanen can prove to be a deadly three-point shooter with all-star potential himself. And my favorite part of all of this, the Chicago Bulls are going to get a top 5 pick next year. They're going to be in the Michael Porter Jr. sweepstakes. Just at the end of the day, the Bulls gave themselves a chance at a real future, and that's saying a lot more than a lot of other teams this offseason. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you disagree with any of my selections, comment down below. I'm sure there are going to be some pretty bad comments there. But if you like this video and you're new to this channel, I would love if you subscribe. Make basketball videos like this, do NBA history, do NBA what ifs. Gonna be doing a lot more NBA stories soon because I just miss making those videos. So subscribe, you're not gonna regret it. And if you're already subscribed, thank you guys so much. You're awesome, we know this, and as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music.
Yeah, well, but like I said though, I mean, both of those teams I can agree on. I mean, it's a really big like what if though with the what you call it. It's a big what if with the Bulls to me because like yeah, like you said though, you traded away Jimmy Butler, which is like probably like a top 15 player in the league, you know, two-way star, and you know like with that. Because they could have been like with the Jazz and the Clippers. Like now Clippers they re-signed Blake Griffin and they got DeAndre Jordan, but now they got with Gallinari, Pat Beverly. You know, just this basically is it's the same team with just like now they got role players now on their team. And it's like they're not really going to go anywhere like anywhere right outside the semifinals of the Western Conference. And the Bulls gonna probably be in like the same boat. You know, like barely making the playoffs or even making the playoffs, but then it's like not really doing too much in the playoffs. Probably first round exit most likely, even with Jimmy Butler. So it's like, yeah, why not trade him, get him out of there, get young assets, get a pick, a nice top pick for next year. And like you said, Michael Porter Jr. They can be in that sweepstake for him next year, which watch out for him because he's gonna be nice when he come out. But yeah, like it's just I don't know, like. Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and just I guess Zach LaVine's gonna be like your main asset. Yeah, either him or Mirotic, I guess. I don't know, but I guess we'll have to see it play out in like the next 2 years or so, just to see how this gonna work out with the chemistry and things like that with the Bulls. You know, all them being young and things like that. But, man, it's a doozy. It's another long little video right here, but yeah, man. Alright, well, y'all stay incognito.